say that hedonism is about the pursuit of pleasure. It's actually finding pleasure in pain and pain in pleasure. And I think that football is totally about that. And that's certainly why I find it a beautiful sport to watch.
And is there kind of partly the, I guess, tragic element of like the cruelness of a low-scoring sport as well, where a team can play badly and
still lose
and win.
Play badly
and win when it's completely unfair. Like there is no justice in the world.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Chelsea fan. I was watching the FA Cup, and I think Chelsea hit the woodwork 6 times. And Portsmouth then got a penalty. And you're sitting there going, well, that's the way it goes. And then they missed it. So then that flipped on its head, and within a minute, Chelsea had scored and won the game, and then they missed the penalty. So it's just such a lovely, a magnificent roller coaster that you wouldn't trade for anything. I was lucky enough to be at the Australia-Italy game, which was just phenomenal to be at. And in fact, one of the reasons I'm not going to the World Cup this time is that I want to quit while I'm ahead. The last game I saw was Australia versus Italy, and I don't think it's going to get any better than that. But even losing, it was such a phenomenal event to be at, apart from the fact that it was just Australia was actually playing Italy, but the way in which they went out, the drama of it was incredible. And I think that the Australia-Iran game, has there ever been a game that's had more impact on Australian football? I don't think so. I think even though we lost and it was terribly cruel, I think people realised, oh, okay, this is what it's about. This, it hurts a lot.
Yeah. Well, I think Martin Flanagan in The Age said that game was the first time that soccer had really captured the, I suppose, emotional attention of the Australian people. And if you can lose as ridiculously and as tragically as Australia did, being 2 goals up with 14 minutes to play for anyone who needs an update.
Well, Steve Silvani, who was, I think, he was a special guest at one of the maybe 3AW or something, said that he, by that stage, maybe played in 2 flags. I can't remember. Enrico, how many flags did he play in the 90s? He'd been in grand final and Premiership playing in a grand final. He said it just doesn't compare to winning a grand final. He said that the atmosphere there was just indescribable. Indescribable.
Yeah.
You're the author. In Italian, I know. Yeah, exactly.
So the role that soccer has played in your life, for instance, were there? You were. I'm slightly disappointed that you found me obsessive.
No, I did. I mean, I know you loved your football. Patrick and I spent a lot of time with each other in France in 1998, and I didn't know you were that much into it. You were very quiet about it, so I didn't realise. It's still a huge thing for me. For instance, today I spent all day with most of the Australian soccer side, most of the Socceroos today. Here's a shameless plug. I'm about to do a show on SBS during the World Cup every night, a live show at 8:30 every night. So we thought we'd get some of the Socceroos just to do a few things for the show, just have a few things in the can. And it was such a surreal day because I kept on having these out-of-body experiences. As in, I have to organise this day and do all the bits with them, but at the same time, I'm in the same room as Lucas Neal, and it, you start shaking and you start thinking, oh my God, I'm with these guys, and at the same time, I'm trying to move them on because I'm just giving them a wind-up. So I guess I'm a bit more, I'm realistic about life, and you've got to move on and do your own things, but at the same time, I still get weak at the knees with football stuff. So it means a lot to me, more than a lot of other things. But I can understand. I saw an interview with Marco Tardelli, who's an Italian player who scored one of the goals in the World Cup final against Germany. Scored a beautiful goal. It's a bit of a miss hit, I reckon, but it was one of the most beautiful goals and probably one of the great celebrations of all time. He was just beside himself. And I saw an interview with him on Spanish television, and he said scoring that goal was far better than the birth of his 3 daughters. He just said, I love my family dearly, but that moment when I scored, it's totally indescribable. He said it was almost like you're about to die. He said everything floats, everything goes. He said, I just started thinking of my brother, I started thinking of my family, I started thinking of everything that happened in my life and how it's all come to this and it's all been worth it because, we were very privileged and everything, but we've had to work hard, and it's been a grind and everything. And my whole life is football. And somehow, if you ever see that goal and how he celebrates it, it sort of makes sense, and it's very moving.
You really just have to look on YouTube for Marco Tardelli World Cup 1982, and that goal will come up, and it is he is famously in agony when he scores this goal.
Yeah. So. And Italian commentary as well. Go Italian commentary. Or if you do want to see something on YouTube, see Diego Maradona's goal of the century, which he scored just after he handballed the ball. He cheated. And he scored a magnificent goal. It's called the goal of the century. It was scored against England in 1986. And you just go to the Argentinian radio commentary. It's quite remarkable because the Argentinians speak fast on their television commentary, but 3 times as fast for radio. And the guy who's calling it, as Maradona actually approaches the box, doesn't have words anymore. He's just making sounds. He's saying ta 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 ta, and Maradona scores the goal, and then he just starts screaming out, "Long live football!" It's not even, he's going "Viva el fútbol," and then he's just screaming, "Diego Armando Maradona, God bless you." He's just gone nuts, and when you see those things, they actually are quite moving things, and it is funny because it is just a sport and it is silly.
Yeah.
But you know, I guess, well, certainly in a lot of places, certainly where the places from which Diego Maradona came, and most of the football players come from, there's nothing much going on except for football. So it's such an outlet that's all you really want to think about.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier about being intimidated by the Socceroos players, but you get along quite well with Mark Viduka, for instance.
Mark Viduka. In fact, I was about to leave my phone on because Mark has to call me to hopefully lock into the show and stuff. But I do get on very well with the guys, and it's interesting seeing them up close because football does do something to them. It's amazing how much they actually love the game, and all they want to do is play the game. Mark Viduka basically retired because he hated sitting on an exercise bike and doing rehabilitation while his mates were out there playing. They really love playing, and they don't express themselves very well because I think that not because they can't express themselves, and that is because they're just very guarded with the press, especially the ones that have played in England. They don't want to give too much away. So, you know, we sort of often mistake that for they don't really know all that much, but they're certainly all 12 guys that I met today were all absolutely fantastic guys, and all they wanted to do was muck around. At the last World Cup, both Mark Bresciano and Mark Viduka, when they saw me, in the last World Cup, when I knew Australia qualified, I bought a ticket, I got in the lottery, and I also got media accreditation. I got 3 different tickets because I didn't want to miss anything. Didn't care how much I paid, but I had media accreditation, so I managed to meet all the guys as they were getting out of the dressing rooms after every match, and they were just generally giving me big hugs. And I think, I don't know you that well, but I think that they were really. They go through such an intense period, especially with Gus Hiddink, who just tried to make them really super fit in those last 6 weeks. That they were going spare, they really were, and they were really craving any contact. They hadn't really spent any time at all with their wives or anything like that. So all they wanted to do was just talk about Australia and what's going on there. Mark Viduka was saying, "Do you have any tapes on you? Can I bring a tape of the Late Show back to the camp because we're going nuts over there." They're just young, really good guys who just want to play football and love it.
Yeah. And Mark is probably the least guarded of them. I mean, the story you've told of when he introduced you to his Leeds United teammate.
Well, I was in England a few years ago promoting a film that we had put out, and we're actually in Leeds, and I gave Mark Viduka a call. I was a bit shy. I thought, should I really call him? You know, they're preparing for a UEFA Cup quarter-final against Valencia at the time. And I called him. I said, "Mate, I've got your number, so I thought I'd call." He goes, "Mate, where are you?" I said, "Oh, look, I'm in the foyer of this hotel called the Marillion." He goes, "Oh, really? Oh, you're in the foyer?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm on the 3rd floor." I go, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, well, the whole team's here. We're preparing. Do you want to? We meet. We'll have lunch. All this kind of stuff." He invited me to the game because he had a spare ticket because it was his dad, his cousin Mario, and his girlfriend